pause.
What?
Nope, not you.
So am I ready?
Hit record again. There you go.
So I am ready?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. I'm not ready. No, I'm ready.
Now, Behind the Law with Justin Clark and Allie Mack on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Welcome to the show. It is another edition of Behind the Law right here on ESPN 580 Orlando. Thank you for spending your evenings here with me. My name is attorney Justin Clark. 321-282-1055. Watch the show at Behind the Law Radio on Facebook, Instagram, any social media platform. Also, watch the television programs this weekend and every weekend. Saturday, 12:30 p.m. It's You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark, over on CBS Channel 6. And Sunday morning, it is this show, Behind the Law, but Behind the Law on television, 10 a.m., TV 27. To my left, Yellow Mike. What's up, Yellow Mike? How are you?
What's up, Justin?
So, is it my fault that the headphones were dead, or yours, or who's someone else's?
I distinctly do remember
What?
on several occasions asking that, maybe you can turn your headphones off
Oh.
when we're done instead of just chucking them off and throwing and walking away. I don't know.
Okay. So, hi, Brianna. How are you? I won't call
me?
you. I won't call you Yellow Mike anymore. If you're really blaming it on me, I don't know if it's my fault that the headphones were dead.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying maybe they won't die if they weren't on.
New Brianna is here to my right. Hello, new Brianna. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fine. So we're going to do the news today. We'll also play Stump the Clarkie in the second half hour and an exciting interview throughout the show with Daniel Botero. He is a Colombian, first of all, so a very special place in my heart, but also a podcaster. He is the founder and host of Mastering College, a guide to landing your dream job. It's a podcast, but it's also really training your children, or you if you're still in school, about that transition from college, university, whatever, to actually getting a real and good job as you get out of college. So stick around. Exciting show. And if you have questions, again, 321-282-1055. But first, without further ado, I'm tired, Brianna, number one.
Yeah,
OG.
you are.
I am tired today. Look.
You look?
I look tired?
Yeah.
That's not very nice, first of all. What, do I have like bags under my eyes or something?
Whoa. You looking tired does not mean you don't look handsome.
I don't know if I should be mad or not. 2 TV shows we shot this morning, right?
That's right.
Then came, screeching into the office and met with like 30 clients so far. Mm-hmm. And then ran down the hall to our little studio here that's inside of my law firm. Mm-hmm. If you want to check it out. At Behind the Law Radio. You can actually check out Brianna, check out the studio. Do it. Follow us at Behind the Law Radio, and you can watch the show there, right?
Yeah, that's
You
absolutely true.
All right. Without further ado, it's time to do a little news.
So what is going on? The Pelicans won the lottery draft last night, which means that they will receive the number 1 draft pick, which will most likely be Zion Williamson.
This is one of those things that you look back and you're like, of course they did, because they only had a 6% chance of winning.
I know.
But the whole Anthony Davis thing hanging over the city of New Orleans and really the NBA, you're like, oh, of course. Just to complicate matters further, now they're going to have to figure out, okay, so is he wanting to play with Zion? Does Anthony Davis now want to stay, or does he want to go still? What do they do? It's just one of those crazy things that happen. But when you look back on it, you're like, of course, this is perfect.
But many people, including myself, believe that he would go to the Knicks, actually.
Well, yeah, because the Knicks had a
better
16 or 14% chance, I forgot, of winning the lottery along with 2 other teams.
Yeah.
But they were the only team in the top 4 who were in the top 3 percentage of being able to get one of the top picks. So,
Well, he is a phenomenal player, so whatever team he does go to, he will have a great impact on them for sure.
see, I believe in tanking. I think tanking should be okay. They've done this lottery thing to prevent NBA teams from tanking to try to get the first pick. I really don't care. Look, if you're really going to do that, if you're going to piss off your season ticket holders by literally tanking the season, by not wanting to win games, by literally trying to lose games, then that's the business decision that you've got to make. I'm fine with tanking, but you're going to really turn off your audience and they're going to get upset with you, I would hope. So
That's true.
I got no problem with tanking. None. I don't care. Not like I need to watch every NBA game every night. I don't care if the Pelicans are tanking. Oh, the Hornets are tanking. I don't care. Who cares? I think it's
You don't
it's
care
right.
about Boston either?
If they
Aren't you
wanna
a Boston
tank,
fan?
absolutely. If they want to tank, they can tank. I don't care. Whatever. Let's get a better draft pick. It's fine with me.
Yeah. So in other news and local news, discussions will be held today in regards to smoking at OIA. So they're trying to ban smoking in certain designated areas. I mean, that's beneficial for people like me who are non-smokers. Mm-hmm. So that's convenient. What about you?
Well, what about for people who only smoke when they're drinking?
Cigars?
I'm just kidding. Hey, you remember, OG Brianna, remember that time we had a big debate on the show? Mick Dolan was still here about, is it OIA or MCO?
That's right.
What was the outcome of that? Who won that debate? I know I always said it was certainly MCO, not OIA.
We did a poll actually
Yeah.
on our Facebook page, and it turned out that more people call it MCO than OIA.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
really?
still agree. It's MCO. If you go, look, here's what you should do. If you don't believe me that it's MCO, try to book a flight right now. Go to Expedia.com and pretend like you want to get a girls' weekend in Vegas, right? And enter OIA, and then hit. I forgot what the Las Vegas, LAS, I believe.
Okay, but what does MCO stand for? OIA stands for Orlando International Airport.
But try to book a flight using OIA. It doesn't work. There's no OIA. There's only MCO.
Well, that's true.
Anyway, sorry. What was I
Yeah.
saying? What were you saying?
And the rant continues.
Okay, in other news, so McDonald's in Austria will serve as a mini embassies for American tourists.
Do you call it McDonald's or McDonald's?
McDonald's.
Okay. My dad used to call it McDonald's. I was like, Dad, I don't think it's Mac. It's Mick.
It's McDonald's.
Okay.
That's a Tennessee thing.
Possibly. He also said he's going to go wash his clothes, so.
Yeah, so if an American citizen...
He never took me to Washington, D.C. when I was a kid.
Washington?
No.
Washington.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so if an American citizen cannot get in contact with the U.S. Embassy, they can go to McDonald's for help. That's pretty cool. That's interesting.
That's awesome. That's
Right.
great.
Like, can I have a small coffee with a passport on the side?
I lost my passport. Can I get a Big Mac?
Look, let's be honest. How many people? Let's say you're overseas and you'll drop your phone. You don't know where this embassy is at, or if there is one, but you know there's a McDonald's on every corner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
True.
I guess so.
for the dumb tourists. It's it's a safe haven.
Yeah, it's not a terrible idea.
Yeah, not really. Almost ingenious.
What else is going on in the news?
That's all for
Hey,
me.
good job
All right.
today. All right, it's Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark, New Brianna, and OG Brianna are here with you for the rest of the evening. Thank you for joining us. Very special guest joins us now. His name is Daniel Botero. He's from Medellin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so you left Colombia when?
I left Colombia when I was 8 years old.
8 years old? And was it like a family decision to leave? We felt like we had to go? What got you out of there?
I think it all came down. My father passed away when I was 3 years old,
Oh, sorry.
and when he had a family business, and after he passed away, the company 5 years later went bankrupt. Which when I was 8 years old, and I think my mom really had to make a decision of, at that time Colombia was going through a really tough economic time, and she wanted to give me a better opportunity. So
Sweet.
we really. From what I can remember, it was what she was telling me is $2,000 in 2 suitcases.
Yeah. When Pilar came here, she was like 13. Her mom said, because they were a little nervous over in Colombia, some things with the family, whatever. Her mom said, we're going to Disney World. And then when they arrived at Disney World, they said, by the way, we live here now. Because they felt like they had to get the hell out of Dodge because of some things that were going on. So, she you don't want to like leave your friends at that age. It's very difficult. And to come into a new country where you don't speak the language, I mean, how hard of a transition was that for an 8-year-old kid?
I think a lot easier than if I was 15,
Yeah.
right? Like the only person that spoke English was the cafeteria lady.
Yeah.
And because of that, I was able to learn English rather quickly. And as a kid, you adjust a lot easier. For my mom, I think it was a lot more challenging than it was for me. For me, it was.
It's tough, but I have a lot of respect for people who come over here and, again, don't speak the language, you don't have a job, barely know, am I here legally, am I not here legally? It's a scary, scary proposition for sure. So you started a company, we're very proud of you, and you also have a podcast, Mastering College, a guide to landing your dream job. What a great concept, because one of the most stressful parts of going to college, especially that senior year, is, oh my God, I'm about to get out. I'm about to be a real person. I've got the student loan debt following me. How in the world am I going to find a new job? If you have children who are going to college now, or if you're still in school and you're wondering how you're going to land that dream job when you get out, you're going to want to stick around. We'll ask that question and plenty more to Daniel Botero right on the other side of this break. It is Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. All right.
You put mastering college career?
Mm-hmm. 22nd. So what you see there?
Yeah.
20 seconds later, it's going to show up here.
Got it.
All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to the show. Justin Clark here with you as we are every single weeknight, 8 o'clock p.m., our favorite sports radio station, ESPN 580 Orlando. New Brianna's here. OG Brianna is here. Special guest joining us tonight. He is the guy who helps your children or you make that transition from college to your dream job. Daniel Botero, Medellin, Colombia. I'm fascinated with the Colombia thing because Pilar is from Colombia, my wife. So I'm fascinated with it. I love Colombia, great country too. But tell me about this. What in the world got you into trying to help people go from college to the dream job?
Justin, I mean, I think it starts with being naive. Like, just because, again, thinking that American dream, you go to college, you're going to graduate, you're going to have a job, you're going to live the American dream. And for me, that played out and being the fact. But it wasn't until after I graduated that I was working for a Fortune 50 company, coming back to college campuses to do some of the college recruiting, that I realized how lost students were. And it wasn't until I dived deeper into the facts and realized that 85% of students were graduating without a job. And they were graduating with $30,000 worth of student debt. And the jobs that they were getting that's the problem what we have with student debt. And so when I started going back and helping my friends, and then that snowballed into the business that I have today, where now I just help thousands of students, graduate college with a job.
So what do you do? I mean, what can you do as a student to really find a job when you get out?
So let me think about this, right? We spend all of our middle school and high school life trying to fit in. But in order for us to get a job once we graduate, we have to stand out. So my whole thing, what I'm trying to do with students, is to help them change that mindset of, I'm trying to fit in, I'm trying to be like everybody else, to now I'm trying to stand out, which is something like for you do extremely well. You have a radio show, you stand out. You make yourself different. And it's the same thing for students that are looking to get their dream job out of college, is changing that mindset of being just like everybody else to being unique, to going from applying to 100 jobs to having a target list of companies and becoming the ideal candidate for those companies.
Got it. I'm a lawyer, right? I'm not telling you to break the law, ladies and gentlemen, but I've always thought about this. And so if I were to go apply for a job, I mean, what's to stop me from just saying that I graduated from Harvard or I graduated from this school even if I didn't? I mean, is there like a policing organization to make sure you're honest on resumes? I'm not saying to not be. I've just been fascinated, especially as someone who hires a lot of people. Sometimes I'm looking, I'm like, I wonder if they really did go to that school or if they're literally just writing that down on the resume.
Schools are accredited, and because they're accredited, there's databases that you can check. It's like you do a background check. So very similar. There's different background checks that you can do when it relates to different universities. Could you lie about, hey, I worked at Universal Studios? Yeah, I'm sure you can, right?
Did I say Harvard? I meant Kaiser. I thought I could have sworn it was Harvard though. It was Kaiser after all, right? So yeah, be careful. Don't lie on that. But I'm sure it happens sometimes. Tell me a little bit about this podcast, Mastering College: A Guide to Landing Your Dream Job.
Yeah, so I started the podcast almost a year ago, and what I do in this podcast is I bring industry experts, I bring deans of universities, I brought chief human resource officers for Fortune 15 companies, CEOs, talent acquisition directors, even students. All I'm bringing their insights on the inside look on how do students graduate college with a job. So what does it take to get a job at Darden or Disney or Universal Studios? Because at the end of the day, it's an open book test. So that's what the podcast is all about, is making sure the students get the tools they need to understand the clear path.
Let me go around the room real quick. I want to ask you guys, and look, no one's listening, all right? Just us here talking. We're not on the radio, okay? Have you ever lied on a resume or in a job interview? OG Brianna, I'll start with you. You won't be honest here. So it's not a lie, it was a fib.
I might have embellished.
You embellished?
Maybe I embellished. I don't know.
Give me sort of like an example. You don't have to give me specific businesses or anything, but like...
Well, I could. I started bartending. I was 17 years old. I'm pretty sure Florida law says you got to be 18.
Oh, really?
So I might have... There might have
said
been
you were
a gray
18.
area on my date of birth.
Uh-huh.
I can tell you I did turn 18 while I was on that job, though.
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah, that's all that matters.
You know.
New Brianna, no BS. Lied on a job application, resume, or at your interview.
Honestly, I've never lied at all.
No?
I'm an honest person.
Such a liar.
I'm not. Apparently.
Wow.
Never.
Daniel?
I think I've extended the truth a little bit.
Give me an example.
Right.
And you can be general about it. I want to really hear what's going on out there.
I think, especially when I was in college, when I was applying for different jobs, is talk about the number of people that I led. Like, I managed a student organization with 100 students versus 70 or 50 students.
I
Like,
see.
just about that extension of the truth. But I think most people lie on the truth,
Right.
on the resume. I think statistically, that's the...
God, you're listening to Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark talking to Daniel Botero. He is a mastering college expert trying to find your dream job or the dream job for your children. So if you have kids in college, you definitely want to stick around. How's the job market in Orlando?
It's hard. I mean, it's good if you're looking for a job because unemployment rate is below, it's all-time low, right?
Yeah.
So it's amazing. But for students, it's hard. It's harder because there's so many students graduating, especially from UCF. You think about there's 60,000 plus students at UCF. If you think about how many graduate every year, do we have that many new jobs in Orlando? That's what makes it challenging.
The most, I want to say kids, but obviously young adults or whatever, people who are graduating college, do most of them go right into something in their field or do they divert into something else because they can't find anything in their field?
You would hope that they all went to something related to their field, but the reality is that 40% of people nationwide never work in a job that requires their degree. 40%.
Unbelievable. And so my understanding about Orlando is, the unemployment rate is very, very low. I mean, so everyone has jobs, but because of all the theme parks and things like that, that maybe the pay isn't so good here. What are you hearing about pay in Central Florida?
It just depends on the industry, right? Like if you're in a tech industry, in the technology, in anything where the hospitality generally pays less, right? But at the same time, what you find is the server trap. Is a lot of students, especially in Orlando or in cities where there's a lot of hospitality, that you can make such great money as a server that you make more money being a server than your level entry job at an organization.
Got it. So you tell me that in middle school, high school, we are all trying to fit in, which is true. I mean, I think that's a great point. But when you get out of college and you're looking for that dream job, you really have to stand out. I mean, what are some of the things that I can really do to stand out without being overboard and the employer's thinking I'm nuts,
I think it all depends on what your dream job is, which is the beautiful thing about, because we all essentially will have different jobs. We don't all want to work for the same company. And based on what your dream job is, that determines how you stand out. And so it's more of a sniper approach of job searching. And once you understand where you want to work, let's say that I wanted to work for your law firm, it's very easy for me to find out what you're looking for in your ideal candidates. I'll just have to ask you because as a business owner, it's in your best interest. So in terms of what do I do to stand out is really depends on what you're looking for. And then once you understand that, then do those things.
Where do I apply for a job now?
You can apply like everybody else online. I would suggest you network your way to that job because like we were talking about the resume, you talk about how people lie, right? The resume is the most biased document in the world, extremely biased. We all know people lie in their resume. But if somebody like OG Brianna hands you a resume of new Brianna, you believe that resume more than if new Brianna applied online.
Gotcha. Let's say I do submit a resume online, but then I also fax it over or whatever I'm going to do to try to get it directly to the hiring person at the business I'm looking to go work for. How often do I follow up via phone or via email, and when do I first follow up?
I mean, it depends on the company and the company culture. I think personally, it's not just following up via phone. How do you do it differently, right? How do I stand out? How about hand thank you card? As millennials and Generation Zs, we don't do that. We're all technology based. But if I got a thank you card from a millennial, I think that means a lot more. So it's standing out differently, going straight to the office and seeing, can I please speak to that specific person?
So you don't think Snapchatting at them is enough? That's not good enough?
I don't think the other person has Snapchat to receive it.
Oh, that's what it is. So I can't tweet at you and then boom, I'm hired?
LinkedIn,
that's where it's at, huh, for hiring?
That is really where it's at.
You have children in college or getting ready to go to college, right? And look, you've paid for them for 21 years now, and you're not kicking them out, but you would like to get them off the payroll. Don't feel weird about that. That's a very normal, rational thought. How do you help them find that dream job? Let's ask that question and plenty more of Daniel Botero right on the other side of this very short break. Justin Clark with you on Behind the Law. Two more segments. We're going to play a trivia game now, probably about hiring and shit.
It's about college grads.
The college grads.
Although if we were listening, we have some of the answers already, so
Oh, yeah?
this might be okay.
How do you know? How do you know? How do you know the question?
Well, I review the questions with her. I don't get the answers.
I
I
don't
just
give her
review
the
the questions.
Oh, so
Because
she
some
looks-
questions are, trust me, you're
So
going to want
what
me to
keeps you
review
from
them.
looking at the questions and Googling the answers?
The fact that I literally have no time to do that.
Uh-huh.
Why would I? If so, I would literally have won every single game up until this point, Justin, and I
What's the
haven't.
score on this game? Now I got it.
4 questions.
Social media.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hello.
So we're doing trivia next,
Yeah.
right?
Something
right.
Clark.
And so who's winning in this trivia race?
Probably you.
Yeah, probably you, because it's all about college.
Oh, so I'm part of this trivia?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's do
It's
it.
all about you.
Oh. Let's do this.
All right, you guys ready?
Let's do it.
I would hope I win now.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Welcome back to the program. Justin Clark here with you for another edition of Behind the Law. OG Brianna, by the way, that song is called Try Honesty. Just for the record. I just want to be very clear about that.
You actually didn't answer the question.
'cause
Have
no
you
one asked
ever
me.
in?
Please.
Okay, there it is.
321-282-1055. The website youhavepower.com. You can also watch this show every single day. Follow at Behind the Law Radio on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, any social media platform. And you can interact with us right there. Also, don't forget, 2 television programs every single weekend. Saturday, 12:30 p.m. on CBS. It is You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. And Sunday morning, 10 a.m. on TV 27. It is this show, but it's this show on television. Behind the Law on TV 27. New Brianna's here to my right. Hello, new Brianna.
Hi.
OG Brianna's down at the end of the desk. Hello, OG Brianna.
What's up, liar?
How's it going? There's a very special guest today, Daniel Botero. He is a man who helps our college graduates find their dream jobs. Daniel, thank you for being here, sir. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks
All
for having
right,
me.
so now we're going to play a little game. Dumb game called Stump the Clarkie. All right, we're going to do 4 questions. We will then score the game after we answer all 4. Don't be nervous because they like to find categories that I'm not going to know anything about and you're going to know a lot about. So you have nothing to fear, but are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
All right, and now it's time for Stop the Clarkie. Come on, Clarkie. We need you to get over here. We got some great trivia questions we want you to answer. Come on, Clarkie. Get over here.
Thank you very much, Fulton Alum. New Brianna, what is the category today?
So today's trivia is all about college graduates.
Hey, what do you know? All right, let's play this game.
All right, question 1. What is the current unemployment rate for recent college graduates?
I think I might have heard that earlier in the show, but
Yeah. Let's see if I can get that right. No.
didn't you win yesterday, Brianna? No?
No.
Sheriff Lima?
Sure,
Oh,
yeah. God, he
oh,
smoked
that's
us.
right. It was about sheriffs. I mean, what do you expect?
He knew these numbers. I mean,
You got the first one right. That's what it was. Yeah.
like that.
You remember it was 3,000. You said 3,000. He said 3,100.
Right.
That's right. All right. Question 2.
What percentage of graduates believe that their college education was beneficial?
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Don't tell your mom and dad this.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna put this number on here.
You learned a lot about social skills by playing beer pong. Beer pong was my game. Oh, yes.
Was it?
Oh, all the time.
Didn't help my social skills. It helped my accuracy though.
We played a lot of beer pong at the University of Tennessee. I think they still do, but it seems like with beer pong now they play with like the doors. You know, we used to actually play on a ping pong table. Now they just use doors.
Oh, that's right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
These kids these days.
Yeah, we didn't have doors just laying around.
Yeah, we use doors for like, closing and opening.
You know, the general use.
All right, question number 3 for a Stump the Clarkie.
What percentage of college graduates are working jobs that don't require a degree?
Oh. I think I'm being too negative here, maybe. I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we score the
I
game.
had to erase mine because I thought it was too negative, but I'm going to go to put that back on there.
All right, one final question tonight on Stump the Clarkie. Go ahead.
What percentage of college graduates earn less than $55,000 a year?
All?
All? No, it's not all.
Damn close. All right, you guys ready to score this game?
Yes.
I don't feel like I did so well tonight, but I guess we're going to find out. I guess we're going to find out.
This is the first all percentage answers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All my answers are
Well,
percentage.
you're the one that approved the questions right before you Googled the answer.
Oh, man.
It's Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. All right, what was question number 1?
What is the current unemployment rate for recent college graduates?
Let's go with our guest, Daniel Botero. What did you have?
I said 5%.
5%. I went way, way higher.
Way,
OG
way higher.
Brianna.
I said 83%.
And I went with 68%. What is the correct answer?
55%.
55%. I will take the point and pull ahead early here. 1-0-0. Going into question 2.
What percentage of graduates believe that their college education was beneficial?
OG Brianna?
60%.
And I went with 32%. It's pretty negative.
A little bit.
All right, Daniel, what do you have?
I went 50.
50%. What is the right answer?
65%.
65%. Is that OG?
It's OG.
OG gets the point. Going into question 3. Tied 1. Justin Clark. 1. OG Brianna. Our guest, Daniel Botero, is trying to get on the board here. Probably will here on question 3.
What percentage of college graduates are working jobs that don't require a degree?
I went with 60%. The big 6-0. Daniel, what do you have?
40%.
40% OG.
It's 75%.
Oh, she's even more negative than I am. What is the
What?
right answer?
45%.
45%.
Good
That
job,
is
Daniel.
Daniel is on the board. I'm
Oh,
glad
Daniel.
it's all tied up going into question 4. You guys nervous? Are we ever going to keep score in this game so I can figure out how many I've won, how many you have lost?
Sure. I'll go back and rewatch all the episodes.
Well, but I mean, we could start from now. I like to know.
Sure.
I mean, if I get on a losing streak, we can forget. You know?
So
What?
it's beneficial
Yeah.
only for you?
Right. Exactly.
His name's on
Okay.
the logo. Yeah. It has to be beneficial for him.
All right, one final question for Stump the Clarkie for tonight. Question 4. It's the deciding question. Question 4.
What percentage of college graduates earn less than $55,000 a year?
Daniel Botero, we're back to you, sir. What did you say?
85%.
85% OG?
60%.
60%. It's going to be close here. I went with 80%. 80. What is the right answer?
63%. OG.
Oh, congratulations. Brianna pulls this one out somehow by the skin of her teeth.
Somehow.
Good job. I'm very proud of you. Thank you for playing Stump the Clarkie.
Okay, folks, thank you so much for being with us. Clarky, let's get out of here, buddy. My stomach thinks my throat's cut. I'm starving.
Thank you very much, Fulton Allen. All right, let me ask you this question. So, I think a lot of people make fun of students who are doing some crazy program. Why are you majoring in art history? Or why are you majoring in this or that? What are some of the best majors to make sure I find a great job when I get out of school?
That's a good question. Honestly,
Sorry.
I would not be able to tell you. I would think,
Yeah.
a very, very safe bet is, the more technical the major, the better jobs they are. Obviously, there's a shortage of nursing and there's a shortage of anything with computer science. So if you're just going to college because you want to graduate with a job, then definitely go to those majors. The more technical you could be, the better off you're going to be.
You do a lot of speaking engagements, I guess, right? Tell me about those.
I speak a lot in front of students. Go to different universities across the country and speaking to students on creating strategies on what we've been talking about this whole episode.
Hey, tell me, what do you do? Where do you have these meetings? Where do you make these speeches? Is it like in a big auditorium or are they very small groups? I mean, describe these meetings/speeches for me.
There could be, organizational conferences. So there's hundreds of student organizations. Just UCF alone has over 300 different student organizations. A lot of those are national organizations that have chapters all across the United States. So it could be in a student organization. It could be brought by a different university. That's generally where I'm speaking to students. So it's classrooms, conferences, anywhere where college students go to.
Any favorite college that you've ever visited?
You know what I was really impressed with? Miami.
University of Tennessee?
I haven't been there.
Oh, yeah. You should check it out.
Yeah?
I don't know. I went there. That's about all.
I was actually very impressed with Miami-Dade. It's very similar to
UN?
Valencia. Yeah.
Okay, University of Miami?
No,
no.
Miami-Dade College. So it's like
I'm
Valencia
sorry.
College, and their students were very, very. The program that I went there was very well.
I thought you were just comparing the U to Valencia College.
No,
you were going to
no.
make a lot of Miami fans very
No.
upset here.
Valencia is the Harvard of community colleges.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's
I
what
didn't
heard.
know that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good question to ask, too, right on the other side of this break. If you have a high schooler right now who's thinking about going to college, should they do the 2-year community college route and then the major college route? I mean, that saves some money, it seems. Let's ask Daniel Botero that question. All right on the other side of this break. We have one more segment ahead of Behind the Law. All right, what have I not hit on that we need to really hit on?
No, I think you've done a really good job. I'm trying to think. Definitely talked about the pain points. This quiz is a big eye-opening for anybody listening to it. I honestly didn't know the unemployment rate is 54%. I guess I don't know what they're counting that, but no, I think you did a great job. That's a good question. I mean, a lot of people are like, "What's the difference?"
Yeah. Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
And obviously, you two can chime in anytime. You're way closer to college age than I am. I'm 39 years old. You're 24.
24.
Brianna's like 28, 9, 24, 5, 6. I totally forgot.
7.
27.
Ugh,
I know.
your mind is slipping a little.
But she lives in Winter Park. I mean, used to.
I was like, no, I don't.
She lives in Lake Mary.
She
Right?
does.
Yeah.
I'm learning all this stuff. Brianna have only worked together for a year. I would have said 29. I thought you were like 29.
I know. You keep aging me up.
Oh, shoot.
It's fine.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Welcome back to the show. One final segment ahead. Attorney Justin Clark here with you as we are every single weeknight. Favorite sports radio station, ESPN 580 Orlando. Brianna's here. Joined by a very special guest, Daniel Botero. He helps you or your children go from college to that dream job. Let me ask you the question. This is a question many families have bantered about over the course of the last many years. It's, do I send my child to the smaller community college for a couple of years before transferring over to the bigger college? What do you think?
Again, it's always going to depend, but generally you can save so much more money if you go to community college first. Really, if you think about what a college degree is, the first 2 years of prerequisites, nothing really changes, and they're all what you learn in, world history does not change what you learned at UCF, UF, or University of Tennessee or Valencia. So going to community college for the first 2 years will definitely save you a lot of money. But if you are someone that already knows what you want to do and you want to start building that network, then going to those larger universities was going to allow you to open more doors in the future. But generally, if you're looking to save money and still get a quality education, going to community college will save you lots of money.
Is getting into college harder now than it was in the past?
I mean, absolutely. It's harder and harder. What the requirements in terms of SAT, extracurricular activities, it's so hard to get into universities now.
So let's say I'm an employer, and when I see someone who's applied for a job here, I obviously look at what school they went to, and I'll see Florida State or University of Maryland, whatever, these big names that I've heard of before, where a lot of these state schools for in-state students are not that expensive. I mean, they really aren't for in-state students. And then I'll see someone who went to some like random college I've never heard of, and I'll look it up and it's like $60,000 a year. What are employers looking for when it comes to education? I mean, are they looking for someone who went to that $60,000 or $70,000 a year school that I've never heard of, Saint whatever of Saint whatever? Or do they prefer someone who went to a bigger college?
Let me ask you the question as a business owner, right?
All right.
At the end of the day, for you, what do you care most about when you're hiring somebody?
I mean, it depends on the position. I want someone who's somewhat personable, smart, self-driven, things like that.
You want them to be successful at the role, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so what you're looking for is that the person that you hire and you bring in is going to be good at that role. And so what you're looking for is indicators that that's going to happen. And so if you went to Tennessee and you enjoyed it and you were successful, you're going to think that students that go to Tennessee have that same type of education. And so I think that at the end of the day, you're trying to minimize your risk as an employer. And so the best indicator of future performance is past performance. So you're basing the student's performance on the school they attended.
Gotcha. How big of a problem now is student loan debt?
I think it's huge. I think it's, in my opinion, the next bubble.
Yeah, I fully agree. I've told these people here on the show all the time the two biggest problems that we have in this country right now are health insurance and the cost of health insurance. Families simply can't afford it. And student loan debt. We work here every day, all day for people who are just saddled with tons of student loan debt. And a lot of them went to schools that were, not so good, essentially. And student loan debt, it's not like Amex debt or Wells Fargo debt that you can file bankruptcy on. I mean, generally speaking, student loan debt is going to follow you or follow your son or daughter around for a very, very, very long time. And that's why I think it's important to, first of all, try to minimize the debt while they're going to school, especially if you think your son or daughter is going to end up going to some sort of graduate program as well. I mean, the last thing you want to do is rack up $70,000 a year the first 4 years in regular school, and then you got another 3, 4, 5 years of grad school as well. I mean, what are some of the student loan debts that you've seen for people coming out of grad school?
I mean, hundreds of thousands. So it's ridiculous the amount of student loans, but it's also, I mean, students are taking it out, and all that money is not going towards the universities. Students are taking it out and using it for their living expenses and living a life that might be above their means, and because it's the easiest loan to take out. And so it is a problem of students taking it out, but it's also students' problem because they're taking it out and using it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, sure. Who would hire you? Who hires you to come help them out? Is it employers that want you to introduce them to students? Or, I mean, who really hires you?
I think it's schools and organizations to hire me to come and speak. And then it's also employers to help them create their campus recruitment program. Because hiring college students can save them a lot of money, and they'll be able to create a solid future pipeline.
Gotcha. So biggest advice, let's say 3 biggest tips. If someone's been listening today, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando, 3 biggest tips for people coming out of college to finding a job that's well-paying and something that they enjoy doing. What are the 3 biggest ways to find that job?
I think number 1 is figuring out what they want to do and understanding that finding their dream job is an open book test. It is the companies are going to want to tell you what they're looking for. So once you understand that, is becoming the ideal candidate and then being able to stand out. So that's 1 and 2, right? Number 1 is figure out what you want to do. Number 2 is finding out the answers to that open book test of what that job that you want to do is looking for. And then number 3 is networking. I mean, you're 100 times better off finding a job through networking than you are applying online. I think over 85% of jobs are filled through a referral. And so networking is key.
What are some ideas that you have? Because I think a lot of students coming out of school, yeah, they're cool playing beer pong with their buddies who are 20, 21, just like them. But when it comes time to go find that job, and now they're dealing with a little bit older adults, so to speak, they're very comfortable, in the house or in the dorm room or whatever. But now when they're having to network with older people who are going to be their bosses, maybe they don't know how to network that way. I mean, what's some advice? What's some things that you can do networking-wise that are going to help you find a job?
If you're shy, if you're a student, you're shy, talking about somebody, you can use LinkedIn as a very good tool to network and get your way through there. So there's an easy activity that anybody could do right now that has a LinkedIn. It's called the 10-5-1. You create a list of 10 companies that you want to work for. And then you reach out to 5 people per company and then have 1 conversation per company. That essentially will help you find the answers to your open book test. In terms of tips on how to approach those people, use the student card. Everybody loves helping a student. And so if you're reaching out to someone and saying, hey, Justin, I am looking to go to law school in Tennessee. I noticed that you graduated from Tennessee. Something like that where there's something that we have in common. The more that you can find in common with that person and using that student card, you're generally going to always get a reply.
How do you feel about students graduating from undergrad, not quite positive about grad school, but pretty sure they want to go? Should they take time off or should they go straight through?
If it's for law school, I think they could go straight through. If it's for business school, I think they should get some experience first. I think it doesn't do them any good going straight without. If you don't even know what you want to do and thinking that 2 more years is going to help you figure that out, it might, but that's a big risk.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't add all the student loans. I would rather find a company that you can work for that can pay for your master's.
Tell me about that a little bit. I've heard something about some companies will actually pay for you to go back and get your MBA or whatever. Does that really exist?
Absolutely.
And what kind of companies do that?
Lockheed Martin, PepsiCo, most large companies, as long as the degree is associated with the business. So if you're in business and you want to get an MBA, they'll do tuition reimbursement or even to the point where they cover all of it.
So let's say I'm coming out of school now, and I have a few businesses who are really chasing me down. They actually want me to come work for them. So I have a bit of a selection. Is there a good way for me to actually research employers and figure out what it's like to work there?
I mean, you could use the regular tools like Glassdoor.com that allows you to see what people who currently work there or work there say about the organization. But the best way is to reach out to somebody unbiasedly and say, how do you enjoy your time? What do you like the most and what do you like the least? And understand that because if what you like and what you dislike and your preference change depending on the person. So just because somebody says, I hate to be micromanaged and being told what to do, you might like that structure. So just keep that in mind.
Let's say I'm a senior in college about to go into the real world. What is the scariest part of that for? What's going through my head that really has me scared? When you talk to these kids, what are they scared about?
I think is realizing that they're no longer taking classes. They're no longer a college student, and that now the student loans are coming. And then now the expectations from people completely change.
No summertime, kid. Summers are over for the rest of your life. No more 2 months for Christmas, pal. More like 2 days. Maybe we'll give you Christmas Eve off, right? It is kind of a kick in the you-know-where when you're like, wow, I kind of have had it made for a while. I mean, it's nice to have money. But, a lot of people, when they get into the real world or they get that first job, they might get a week off the first year, if that, I mean, it really is an eye-opening experience getting that first job.
I mean, like when you're a college student, you essentially have all the time but no money.
Yeah,
and then when you graduate, now you have, I guess, money but no time.
Life is so funny. If you have a child or if you are getting ready to get out of school and you want to figure out how to find that dream job, I want you to reach out to our good friend, Daniel Botero. Daniel, how do we find you?
The best way is LinkedIn.
Shocker.
Yeah, LinkedIn, Daniel Botero, or you can go to masteringcollege2career.com.
That was very good. You did a great job today. Come back anytime. Any way we can help you, we're always here for you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in. For OG Brianna and new Brianna, I don't know much, but I do know one little thing.
What's that?
I will see you right back here tomorrow night on ESPN 580 Orlando.